Move the chains.
What's going on, YouTube? Let's move the chains. We have some big news for the United Football League and specifically the Memphis Showboats. They have finally hired a head coach. It's been a while, but we have answers over in Memphis and the USFL division. So Ken Whisenhunt is your guy. Got a picture of him when he coached for Tennessee, although his tenure at Tennessee wasn't one of the highlights. We're going to talk about that and touch up on that of his career. But Ken Whisenhunt, an NFL guy, most recently a college guy. If you look through the resume that I put, just a little bit of a summary of what he's been able to do. He did go to the Super Bowl. So this is a coach who's brought an NFL team to the Super Bowl. He's received a lot of criticism for what happened after that. Kurt Warner was his quarterback in those Super Bowl days. So that was in 2009 when they lost in the Super Bowl to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And he actually won a Super Bowl as the offensive coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that was in 2005. So he is an accomplished head coach who knows what it takes not only to get to the NFL because he's been around the talent in the National Football League, but how to win championships. The problem was really after Kurt Warner, the wheels fell off the wagon in Arizona. Then he also coached in Tennessee and in San Diego and also Los Angeles because it was the Chargers and when they were in that move. And those seasons did not go well. So after the Cardinals, things weren't so bright for Ken Whisenhunt, but after the NFL, he moved on to college and kind of had a little bit of a revival. He went to Penn State, and then most recently, he was with Alabama last season. And the reason I bring that up is because he got to work behind Coach Nick Saban. And if you're a football fan in general, you probably know that name because of how popular not only Nick Saban is, but what he has done in the world of coaching and what he has done to revive the careers of coaches. So it's something to look out for sure. If maybe Ken Whisenhunt can be one of those guys who turns it around and learns from one of the greatest football coaches of all time in Nick Saban, certainly dominant in college football in the SEC and one of the toughest conferences year in and year out, coaching for Alabama. And I'm excited to see how this works out. Here's the thing about Memphis, right? It's pretty hard to be worse than where they were last season. We've talked so much about the Memphis Showboats and how disappointing they were last year. I actually thought that they would be one of the top teams in the top half, at least, of the league. I really thought that they could make the playoffs. And I was disappointed in what they brought to the table. I thought that they had so much talent across the board, but the Memphis team that was inherited by John DeFilippo, who came over from the New Orleans Breakers, who had a successful season the year before, it just wasn't talented, and they weren't able to bring in enough talent from the USFL side to shore up some of those holes. And this is a Memphis fan base that I think quite possibly, if you start winning games, they could show up. And it's certainly a location for the United Football League that they really want to be successful for a couple of different reasons. So we'll see how it works out. Again, defensively and offensively, there's not much worse than what happened last year for Memphis. I think any Memphis fan would agree with that. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, I can't predict the future, but I can say that I'm more optimistic about the Showboats now than I guess I was when they didn't have a coach. And I think that this is a big name and someone who, look, he's brought teams to Super Bowls and he's won a Super Bowl as an offensive coordinator, which is not easy to do at all. So I think it's a good hire. We'll see what happens. And let me know your opinions down below. Thanks for watching the End Zone. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment so we can move the chains.